Welcome to Go Live TV, the future in your hands. The only multicultural IPTV station that brings communities together. Over 2.7 million people have already watched. Go Live TV, anytime, anywhere.
Hello, my name is Ngarambe Rita Lawrence. I am with Go Live TV. You can download their app from your app store, follow them on YouTube as well, and see you there. God bless you and sending you so much love. Thank you.
Hello, hi everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I welcome you all back to the Cyper show. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in on Go Live TV app, if you have downloaded, and also on our Facebook page. And we're going to be posting our interviews on YouTube as well. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We hope that these conversations that we have leave you changed for the better, that it leaves you with another understanding of whatever topic we talk about, but in all to empower, motivate, and inspire people who can think and decide for themselves, as we are all humans that want to embrace love and humanity within each other. So today I welcome you all again. I am your host, Ngarambe Rita Lawrence, and today I have an incredible guest for you. Her name is Danielle Johnson, and she's running for the MP of Brampton Centre. Welcome, Danielle. Thank you so much for making time.
Hi, Rita. What a pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on the Cyper show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You look incredibly amazing. And for you taking the time. Thank you. It has become a habit for me to say that, and I feel like sometimes people take it lightly, but I meant like in the sense that you took your time and you're here today with us. You decided to sit with us, and I'm so pleased and pleasure to have you here. So thank you.
Absolutely. Couldn't pass up the opportunity to support you as well in the show. And so, as I said, I'm really excited and happy to be here with you.
Thank you. So Danielle, for maybe the viewers who are watching us, do you mind doing a little bit of introduction for like the work you're doing right now?
Absolutely. So, as Rita shared, so my name is Danielle Johnson, and I'm currently seeking the federal Liberal nomination for Brampton Centre. So I'm running to hopefully become the MP in Brampton Centre, and I'm really excited about the journey. I come from a background of working in community, working for community, with various community leaders, across the GTA, going to Kitchener as well. And really just working to support, social purpose organizations, community leaders, and individuals who are doing great work in the community.
Wow, amazing. I love the way you use your word that you're mostly like supporting the communities and people who are already doing the change within the community. So maybe with that, I will take a little bit back and ask, because I read that you worked in the city of Guelph with the immigration, that like in terms of settling the immigrants and also helping them just get used to the life here. What are the challenges that you saw when working there?
So I started my career at the region of Waterloo, and so I initially was working as a caseworker in social services, and before moving into community engagement work. And so as doing that community engagement work, working with the local immigration partnership in the region of Waterloo, and so in that role it was really about supporting nonprofit organizations and community leaders who were working in the settlement sector to help to facilitate that successful, integration of immigrants and refugees into the community.
Right.
So for me, I wasn't working directly with those individuals, but it was around, supporting at more of a systems level. So looking at opportunities to create partnerships, to collaborate, to engage with community, to find out, what are the needs, how can we help, and how can we really help to facilitate that successful integration. So,
right.
To touch on some specifics there, were areas such as employment, looking at, employment opportunities. So working with, the private sector employers locally, looking for more opportunities. Healthcare. Healthcare is, a big thing. So.
Right.
ensuring that there was appropriate translation and resources for translation, so that newcomers were able to access healthcare and other supports in the community. So
Right.
various issues where you really needed to work collaboratively, and so that was part of my role, and it was really around facilitating those discussions and ensure that we were able to move things forward and to continue to see progress, so that there was that successful integration.
Wow, amazing. I love that. Like, so, I'm going to ask like in the kind of immature kind of questions, like excuse my language, but like in the sense that when when making decisions, of course, you said you don't work directly with the immigrants. You didn't work with them, but you were able to bring people together so they can make the decisions that help improve their lives. And within that, like, you also said that like, your background is Jamaican, if I'm get it right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So like even you yourself, you already like you were exposed to this kind of background where you know what people need, the healthcare like you mentioned is needed, like all the things, the necessities that they need for their lives in order to be successful in this country. And maybe with that, I will ask, what is, you said, I think I will quote your words, you said that you want to bring more voices to the decision-making table. When you said that, what do you mean by that?
Right. So I'm going to touch on, a couple things that you mentioned. So yes, so my background, my family, my grandparents immigrated from Jamaica to England, stayed there for a little bit before settling, in Canada, which was their final destination.
Wow.
And so, my parents, my family, came from Jamaica, settled in Canada. And so, there's that, that opportunity, but also, I learned from their journey and their experiences, and in terms of values and who I am, it was a lot of listening and learning to from their path,
Right.
in order to have those values and really stay connected and grounded to family and community. And so that that's one of those big things. So as you mentioned, being of Jamaican background, I certainly want to acknowledge and recognize that that's a significant part of who I am, because of the example that was set for me and those values that were instilled at me and that I live by to those days. So very very influential in terms of my grandparents and my family and my parents in doing that. And so when we talk about, adding more voices to the decision-making table, you're exactly right, and that's certainly one of the reasons why, why I'm running. I think there's so many, individuals from the Black community, women who have certainly come before me and have inspired me to, feel confident and feel ready to take this step. And for me, politics has been something that I've, always thought about, but it's more than just politics. It's about community. It's about civic engagement. It's about taking that opportunity to contribute. And so, while I mentioned that when I was working with Immigration Partnership, for example, I didn't work directly with immigrants and refugees in the community. What we did have are tables where we would facilitate discussions and engage the community. So engage those who are affected. So engaging those immigrants and refugees, engaging our community leaders, engaging individuals from different sectors in order to come up with a solution. So we weren't going in with preconceived notions or solutions of how we're going to solve the problems, because it's really important that we're having those discussions with those who are affected. So for me, as I seek to move forward in this political path, it's about having conversations, getting out in community, being present,
Right.
and
Oh my
making
God,
sure
love
that we're hearing what are the needs, what are the issues, and what can we do collaboratively? How do we work together to ensure that your needs are met, and that we're bringing those concerns to Ottawa. In my case, as I'm seeking the federal nomination, but how do we bring those issues to Ottawa? How do we continue to work and develop solutions? And I think we need leadership at all levels, and we need to really have those.
Yeah, I
important
love that, because in the
conversations.
end, when you decide, when you sit at the table and make those decisions, then you allow the people who work with them directly, you give them the opportunity to. And I love the fact, like, I can't wait, and I'm literally rooting for you, in the sense that I'm mostly moved, like, to see mostly for like Black women empowerment. And this is for this section of our TV show. That's what we're covering, to see people who are creating change and who are also empowering not only for themselves. I love what you said behind the camera. You mentioned that you're not running for politics because to be a politician, but it's for you to be able to make those decisions and also impact the changes. And I love that for you, and I'm hoping for that. You mentioned something about nomination. Maybe, do you mind elaborating on that?
Yes, no, and thank you for asking that. That's something that's come up, quite a bit as I've been, having conversations, mostly virtually, due to the pandemic and wanting to engage, in a safe way. But as I've had opportunities to also connect with individuals in person, a question that I'm hearing is, well, what's this nomination process? And what I've tried to, communicate is, it's not the election, but we have such an opportunity, and we do have an opportunity to influence who represents us, who we have to vote for in the election. So when it comes to the nomination, what I've been out, doing, and my team and everyone who's supporting and helping, is going out, having conversations, explaining the process, but also, explaining why I'm running, explaining who I am, talking about, the opportunities that you have to contribute and to support. And it really does start with the nomination, because, there are many candidates that might, or many individuals that might, express interest in running, and, they're doing the hard work behind the scenes. But if you don't get enough support, if you don't get enough individuals to sign up, then you won't actually, have that opportunity to become the candidate. So for me right now, it's about having those conversations, letting people know that I am running. I'm excited, I'm committed, and I've been out there doing that work to have those conversations, because right now what's really important is getting individuals to sign up, so that the party knows and the party can see that we have support, and then what happens is the party that you're running for will call a nomination vote, and so it's not just about that initial piece of signing up. It's twofold. It's signing up and then voting and then nomination to select your candidate. So that's the process that I'm going through right now, and then once the candidate's selected, then whenever the election is called, then we're pounding the pavement, we're hitting the ground running, and preparing for an upcoming election. But
that's really
that's
intriguing, because I never realized that. Like, I think even for the viewers who are following us, like, take the notes, please, people, because realizing that you have the impact, because it's easy for us to sit back and complain about the rules, about the regulations, and everything that is set upon our lives and how we're supposed to be acting as citizens. But knowing that you have the opportunity, you have the ability to impact that and to choose someone who resonates with you, I think it's a huge opportunity and a huge window to be able to create the changes that we wish for. So I love that, and I think, so is there like a website or anywhere someone can go and sign up? And
Yes, absolutely. So, to learn more about my campaign, why I'm running, you can visit danielajohnson.ca. And when you visit the website, there's, a listing of opportunities to get involved, and you'll see, a button to, click and to register. And by registering and sharing your information, what that will do is sign you up. And so when that opportunity comes to vote for the nomination, you'll get that notification. You'll be able to vote. But there's also other opportunities to support as well. There's, we're on the ground. We have an amazing team, and I want to acknowledge the team, because I certainly couldn't do it. Could not do it on my own. So I appreciate everybody that's given their time and continues to help along the nomination process. But you can join our team. Support the campaign. There's various, as I said, various ways. Donate, join the team, and of course, signing up to help me to become the candidate.
Oh, amazing. I love that. So now that's your professional background, and we're going to dig into the human part of you, and the just you as Danielle, like how maybe, because we think of like the one thing that makes people don't, maybe like on my end and the few people that I've been able to have the conversation with, is seeing the leaders and thinking it's the people who are up there. And at the end of the day, I think that's why most of us disconnect from the leadership, from the political standard of view, where we feel like those untouchable people, they don't care about us, they don't hear us. But when having an opportunity to sit across someone who's running to be a counselor, who in the next few years I will see as a leader, and also realizing that you have a human part, that you have the reasons and the purpose. I so like mostly use that word a lot. I love it. I love love the word purpose. So realizing that there is a human part of you that actually knows and understands the needs of other people. So tell us a little bit about your background as not the professional background, the things you like to do on a day-to-day.
So yeah, certainly I love spending time with my family and close friends, and really since I was young, I have to give that credit to my family because going back to high school, it's the requirement to volunteer and to be involved in the community. But for me, I'm lucky that those around me really instilled giving back to the community. We wouldn't be here where we are if it wasn't for working together and really giving back. And so for me, having that encouragement really started me on that path. And so going back, it was more than just completing those 40 hours for high school. It was around being able to learn and to engage and connect with individuals of different backgrounds, and to work towards addressing different issues. And so a fond memory I have is during the holidays, my family would always get together and go with one of my grandmothers and volunteer in a nursing home, or we would serve food. So little things like that, but doing it with my family was what was really important, because it wasn't just some individuals going out. It was all of us together. And so for me, it's about unity and coming together and really sharing and giving back. So I always looked forward to that during the holidays. And so as I have progressed through life, I've always looked for those opportunities to get involved. And a lot of times it's not about, or all the time really, it's not about going out and saying I'm doing this or I'm doing that. It's being involved, whether it's at the board level, sitting sitting on a board or a committee, or actually being there on the front lines with individuals who are doing, as I said, that hard work day in and day out, and being there to be a part of that.
So like you're saying, like even growing up, like in maybe in high school, or not even where to go back, you mentioned you have a bachelor of
so I have my Bachelor of Arts from Western University in London in psychology and sociology, and then I also studied community development.
Amazing. During your course of studies, like, is there any sort of leadership roles that you were involved in that kind of awakened you to knowing how, like, the whole reason and the whole importance of like being engaged within the people you're working with?
Yeah, so while I was at Western, I mean, there were so many opportunities, right? As a student on campus, I mean, you're learning to navigate this. It's an entirely new kind of exciting phase. And for me, I thought, what opportunities are there for me to actually get involved on campus? And so, to speak about one of the issues in particular that I've always been quite passionate about is mental health. Really advocating and speaking about mental health, addressing the stigma, and these are conversations that we continue to have to this day. And so, I was quite involved there. I was appointed the first mental health issues commissioner at Western. So that's something that I look fondly, on when I reflect back. But also being a part of the London community. And so, when it comes to politics, actually. I had connected with a local city councillor, during that time, Harold Usher in London, who, has continued to serve as, a great friend and mentor to me, but, working closely, at the municipal level and learning and watching, kind of, seeing, how politics
how
works,
things work
how
around
things
there.
work.
Yeah, because it's amazing. I'm asking all
Exactly.
these questions because, like, some of the, like, as we all say, like, I talked to my friend who worked for the Jamaican newslet, and he mentioned that you are inspiring young people and also like realizing that leadership roles start at a young age, like how you involve it. So you mentioned that your family has a huge impact on who you have become. It has played a huge role in shaping you to the woman that you are today. And I believe that you highlighting those elements shows that it's not someone who woke up and decided to run to be an MP. It's someone who has experienced this, who has also like had an opportunity to grow to become this person. So, and I feel like it is inspiring for the young generation to realize that whatever you are, the decision making or the future really depends on them. And I think if you hadn't gone to school or decided to actually care about the issues that you care about, you wouldn't be wanting to make changes and to impact the changes that you're influencing right now. So thank you.
Right. No. Thank you. I love the way you said that. I think, especially as you embark on, certain paths, and especially, politics as a young woman, as a young Black woman, it's not easy. And so that's why I mentioned, all of the amazing, women who've come before me who have done this. And for me, I've been inspired, and what I want to do is to continue to inspire our young people, our young men and our young women, our young Black community, racialized communities, Indigenous communities as well. So, across the board, I really hope to, when I look at young people, there's that energy and everything that's really happening, and I want to continue to, inspire, but also, do that hard work together and show that there is a path. And that's really, what's important, because, so many of others have come and, moved roadblocks and obstacles and continue to speak upon, some of the difficulties and challenges that there are. And so I've been able to learn from that. And so as I continue on, I want to be able, to continue on that path and show that, listen, we can do this. There is a place for us, and we deserve to be at the table. And so, that's really important for me, and especially, with the Black community as well, because, we need to, have more diverse thought, more diversity, around the table, because it benefits everybody. It really does.
Yeah, 100%. I believe in that, and also trust in the sense that it is, like you said, there are people who came before you and moved, even like provided this space for you to be able to even have to have the liberty and the freedom to dream to become an MP, because I believe there was years back when that was forbidden. So to be able to say that, and then you paving these ways and seeing how you're working, I think it's going to be inspiring, and I can't wait to see the run, and I believe you have so much fire in you, and it's going to work.
Thank you, Rita. And the other thing I would just add too is, again, bringing it back to, just being able to vote, and in that nomination, it's, we have that power to connect and use our voice, and have the officials the elected officials that we want to see when it comes time for the election. Who do we want to see on that ballot? Who do we want to see representing us in our community? So I just encourage, civic, engagement and really participating in that process so that our voices can be heard at all levels.
Maybe even like before we take a break and come back, I wanted to ask, what are the things, like if someone wants to say they're rushing or they just get to see this part of the clip, and then they want to say, why should I vote for Dana Johnson? What would be your question? I mean, what would be your answer and go-to answer to that?
Right. No, that's another great question. And I would say, vote for me because, as I said, I come from working in community, and when I want to take what I've learned and the experiences that I've had in the conversations, and be present, listen, not come in, thinking I have all the solutions or can fix everything, but work together. How do we work together, and create partnerships? And collaborate in order to, have our voices heard in Ottawa and have, that representation that's needed for, Brampton Centre. Brampton Centre is such a diverse community, and so I want to ensure that, we have that representation in Ottawa. And so, I appreciate any support, and I would certainly say to visit my website, as you said, for anyone tuning in now, I will repeat it. So DanielaJohnson.ca, and get in touch. I welcome all engagement, and part of the most exciting bit that I've been on in this journey so far is having these conversations, having conversations out in the community, having conversations through phone calls or online, with individuals who have shared, their experiences, what they're looking for, and so I want to hear from you. So I would say, connect with me. Let's have a conversation, and hopefully, I'll get your support as well.
Absolutely, yeah, because there are so many young people that I know who want to do volunteer work and who also would love. So you saying you have a room for that, I love it.
Absolutely.
And maybe I'm even going to push back the break because I love this conversation and where it's going. When you say the importance of having that different voices at the table, and I want you to break it down for the people. I love the simplicity in the words and also the simplicity of understanding things. What is the purpose of having a voice added? I feel like I've had that. You've already answered like this behind the camera, and also here you've touched bases on that. But also like really highlight that even in your own life, personal life. When did you really decide that speaking up does matter, voicing your thoughts or your voicing your what do you call your like voicing your voice really does matter. Like it's for people to actually understand and give value to that, because I think we lose it when we don't care about it, when we think our voices don't matter, when we think we're not part of the changes, but actually giving value to that, to the voice.
Right. Yeah. So, I think I know we all have a voice, and so it needs to be heard. So, having those opportunities, creating those spaces, we need to be really intentional about that. And for me, it's about recognizing that, it's not just about having a seat at the table. It's being able to participate and to contribute to our discussions, and knowing that our contributions are being heard and being considered. So, being equal partners around the table. And so, that's really important. And I think, there's been a lot of conversation around, representation matters, and it absolutely does. But, that's just the start. And so you've probably heard, and I'll continue to say that representation matters, but that's not the be all and end all. That's just the start, and there's so much more work, to be done. And we see that in community, and we see that
we
all
think
around
about
us.
that, yeah.
So,
Like
yeah.
not even like sorry to interrupt, but like in the sense that when you talk about the representation matters, some people think, oh, we just need like another black woman at the table. But when you mention this, and it's someone who has a voice, who gives a value to the voice, it's not like, no, I'm not just sitting at the table to be present, and for like people say it's a token, but you're actually bringing a voice to the table. And I want like so many people to recognize that, even for the whole purpose of the show as well, and like you mentioned, creating those intentional spaces. I want you to highlight that more on that as well, like in the sense when you say intentional spaces, because some people forget why they went there in the first place, what made them, their reasons of wanting to be at the table, that like realizing the power of their voices, also digging deeper, like the voice is not just a voice to say something, it's a voice that I want to impact this, I want this to be heard and to actually be made. So even so, I have two questions in that. One question is, how do we create a purposefully like those spaces, and also intentional spaces, and also what is the one time you actually like an example, I know it has been so many times, but one time you made that decision and impacted people, and you could see the impact, and you were like, it became like a clear version. So even anyone who is like questioning what do they mean by voices, is some poetic, philosophical thing, but like, to actually manifest into the physical world.
Right. Wow. I love where this discussion is going. So, I mean, there's so many examples, and I'm going to focus on, kind of right now, and, as I'm out in the community having conversations with, individuals of different backgrounds, different religions, different languages, it's the fact that, being available to have those conversations. I can't, count on one hand, Rita, the amount of times over the last few months since starting my nomination campaign, individuals have said to me, no one's asked, what are my thoughts? No one's, engaged me and had those conversations. And so, that is something that I think is really important and really telling, because, going into politics, and I keep speaking about this, it's really around, having those conversations and engaging. And so, it's really important to ask, people. And so when we talk about creating spaces, if you're not asking, if you're not giving those opportunities, it starts, with something as small as just asking the question. What do you think, or what has your experience been, or can you share some more information? Really engaging, and not just going in thinking you have the answers, but asking those questions. So there are many examples, and I know you asked me specifically within my career, but I think this is so relevant right now with the time that we're in. And so just asking those questions, being intentional about who you invite in, who's present, in the room or around the table, as we keep, using that reference. But it simply comes down to, putting some thought into it, putting that intentionality into it, and asking those questions. And so I think that's really important. And I'm very intentional about doing that, in my work and as I go along. And for myself and my team, we certainly, ask those questions and make sure that we're really genuinely, creating those opportunities to hear from everybody.
Absolutely, yeah, and I love how you said like it's really important. I believe I am strongly like sitting with you on that in the sense that the people who are voting, who are viewing us right now, knowing that you have the ability to let this woman be an MP, so you can we make the leaders, guys, and I want you to believe that so much in the sense that at the end of the day, like how you mentioned, it's a collective voices. If it's 10 votes, that means one of them does matter. Otherwise, it will be only 9 votes. Mm-hmm. So knowing that your voice does matter and does count, it's incredible, and she is giving you the platform to do that and the chance to actually be impactful. So thank you so much. Maybe as we close off, we did do the asking, so go to daniellejohnson.com to know
.ca, yes.
to actually vote and nominate for her to go to Ottawa and represent us, and also actually just knowing that you're being part of something great. It's an actual a great opportunity, and maybe one thing like you would give advice to people who were looking to vote, things to pay attention to, like you mentioned, like an advice, I think.
Definitely the biggest piece of advice is, if you're thinking about getting involved, if you have something you want to say, if you want to reach out to, myself or anybody else for that matter, do that, share your ideas, use your voice. And I say this especially to our young people and our young women. I think I've said this before, but be bold. It's not easy, certainly, but we need to hear you. We need, your energy, your ideas, your commitments. So just get out there and engage. Please reach out to me. I'm more than happy, at any time to have a conversation. Mm-hmm. But I think, that's the thing, because, there's a road that's there for us to take. And sometimes we just need to take, those few steps, and certainly, having support behind you is important. But if you're thinking about it, you should certainly explore it. And there's so many, organizations and individuals out there that are willing to help, and that's something that I found as well. If you reach out to someone, or you want to get advice, usually the answer is yes. And so I've been really grateful to have that. And so I would just encourage anybody to who's thinking about the path, just to be bold and do it, because we certainly need you and we need your voice.
Thank you so much, guys, for following us. Thank you so much, Danielle Johnson, for that. And definitely rooting for you, like I mentioned from earlier, in the sense that the whole knowing that you're not, like you said, you're not coming to the table saying you have all the answers, but you're coming saying everybody's voice does matter. So we are being part of the decision making. In the end of the day, you're representing the table. I mean, the people. As you sit at the table, you're sitting with everyone else who gets involved and who roots for you. So go to her website, nominate her to be the MP that she deserves to be, and see you then. Follow us on our Instagram as The Cyper Show. Follow our YouTube as well, subscribe. And also, let's keep going and voicing our voices and rooting for people who do represent us and the people that we can see our lives in the future being changed and impacted by. So thank you so much once again. It's such a pleasure to have you, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Rita. It's been great to be a part of the show. And I will just add, so in addition to my website, daniellejohnson.ca, I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Vote Daniela. So thank you.
Amazing. At Vote Daniela. See you guys next Thursday, same time at 3 p.m. on Go Live TV. Thank you so much. This was The Cyper Show and your host, Ngarambe Rita Lawrence.